You know that huge question we all ask ourselves at some point? What am I really here for? What gives my life any real value? It's a question that connects every single one of us. And today, we're going to explore a really powerful answer using a couple of simple but incredibly deep analogies. So let's try and break that big question down into something a little smaller. Think about it for a sec. Think about any complex system, like a car or even a whole ecosystem. What is it that gives just one single part its true value? Is it what it's made of, its shape, or is it something else entirely? And here's where it gets really interesting. This quote flips the whole idea on its head. Value isn't something a part has by itself. It comes from its relationship, its connection to the whole. And as Srila Prabhupada explained, this profound truth can be understood with a very simple, everyday example. So that leads us right into our first analogy. Now, it's a simple comparison, but trust me, it perfectly illustrates this whole idea of relational value. We're talking about a single, humble screw and its relationship with a machine. I mean, just think about it, right? A screw just rattling around in a drawer. Sure, it exists. It has potential. But its real purpose, its actual value, only comes alive when it's tightened into its specific place in the machine, holding everything together. Apart from the machine, it's just a piece of metal. But within it, it becomes absolutely essential. And this is where it really clicks and becomes about us. It's not just about hardware, obviously. As Srila Prabhupada explained, just like that screw, every single one of us is designed to be a part of a greater supreme whole. Our purpose, our sense of harmony, it's all found in that conscious connection. By the way, this whole idea, this brilliant illustration, comes straight from his lectures. If you want to dive deeper, and I really recommend you do, all of this is on vanapedia.org. It's just an incredible resource. Okay, so if connection is the answer, that brings up a really important question. How does that connection actually work? How do we, as the part, connect to the whole? Well, our second analogy, the key and the lock, gives us the answer. So let's break this one down. We, the individual soul, we're the key. The supreme whole, that's the lock. But here's the kicker. There's that crucial third piece, right? The keyhole. It's not enough to just have the key and the lock. There's a specific authorized channel for that connection. And of course, the final step is the action, actually turning the key. And that keyhole, that special authorized channel, it actually has a name, bhakti. And it's not some fuzzy, vague feeling. Nope. It's a very specific process, a mechanism, really. It's expressed through real practices like hearing and chanting and serving that allow the key to actually fit and turn in the lock. This really drives home a crucial point, doesn't it? You can't just take the key and bang it against the lock hoping it'll open. Just being near it isn't enough. The connection has to be made through the proper mechanism, that specific keyhole it was designed for. The process itself is absolutely essential. All right, so we've got the screw in the machine and the key in the lock. Let's bring this all back home. What does this actually mean for us, for our sense of identity in our everyday lives? You know that feeling when we're disconnected? It's like that loose screw. There's this sense of incompleteness, right? We feel like something's missing, and we start looking for value in all sorts of other places. But when we're connected, when that key is in the lock, life just starts to feel harmonious, purposeful. It's deeply fulfilling because we're finally acting the way we were designed to. So where do we look for that value when we feel lost? Well, usually it's in all this temporary stuff. Our looks, how smart we are, the things we own, our job title. We try to build our identity on these things. But because they all change, they can never give us that lasting, deep sense of completeness that we're all really looking for. So what is our real, lasting identity then? Well, this teaching gives us a beautiful answer. Our Jiva Swarupa. As Srila Prabhupada explained, it's our core constitutional nature to be an eternal servant, a functioning part of that supreme whole. That is who we really are, beyond all the temporary labels. Okay, let's bring it all together now. The screw, the key, what's the big idea here? What's the core truth that both of these analogies are pointing to? And here is the big takeaway. Our culture is obsessed with radical independence, doing it all on your own. But these analogies, they suggest a totally different path. True completeness, true perfection, isn't found in being an isolated island. It's found in being properly, consciously, and lovingly connected to the whole. And just like that screw in that key, our real identity and our real value, they don't just poof appear out of nowhere. They're realized when we act, when we're rightly engaged performing our function within the whole. It's in the doing, in the serving, that our purpose truly comes to life. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What's our greatest purpose, really? Is it to be that lone screw in the toolbox, separate, independent, but ultimately without function? Or is it to be an absolutely essential, indispensable part of a perfect and magnificent whole? Look, the ideas we've touched on today are huge, and we've really just scratched the surface. If any of this has sparked your curiosity, I seriously encourage you to check out the original lectures from Srila Prabhupada that inspired all of this. You can find everything at vanapedia.org. Thanks so much for joining me.